Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this new thing we're doing at the Watchers. Watchers. What I'm saying at Star Esports. For those of you who are used to seeing us with the All Star Brawl, this is something new we're doing here. And it's called the Overwatch Star Esports. And it's called Trials that we're doing here. So I think that's the most apt way I can put it, really. It's going to be a 10-week event where teams get to play against each other in a sort of a league-type format. And they're going to be, distributed over 4 different tiers, meaning that, we don't have that much of an SR gap between the teams, which is obviously nice for the teams themselves. We'll just be giving you most of these matches. For anyone watching, if you're in a team and you want to participate in something like this, you can still sign up. I mean, it's still the first week, so nothing really has been done yet. The points haven't been distributed yet, so you can still sign up and participate in this. We're going to go for another 9 to 10 weeks after this, and then playoffs are going to be there. So you know what? It's all going to be good. We're going to look forward to it, and it's going to be a little bit different from what you normally used to us. Now, I've been talking for a long time, haven't introduced myself, so bad manners. I'm Man of Class, and I'm joined tonight by poor Zach. How are you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty excited to get into this game here.
Okay. Well, it's obviously we're going to have Apex Deft versus the Chimpanzees. I personally haven't seen them before, but you know what? I'm not going to be scared by it because they're just going to play Overwatch. And if there's one thing I know, it's Overwatch. Although, with all those announcements today, I might not know Overwatch as well as I thought in the near future, man. It's going to be a whole lot of a change.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what they run now, knowing that the 2-2-2 is a definite thing. Whether they're going to decide to stick to that, just pure 2-2-2, or if they're going to maybe still play a little bit of goats. I imagine they'll go for more of the 2-2-2 just because that is going to be what's up and coming. It's going to be, the norm. So I don't think we're going to be seeing much goats today, or at least I hope not. I'd like to see a little variety.
We have seen goats decrease a lot, and especially if it's outside of Overwatch League, it's become harder and harder to really run pure goats. So if anything, we'll at least see some variations of it. We'll see more Ana, see more Sombras, see more, whatever, really. Baptistes maybe even. So if there's Reinhardt Zarya, it's not necessarily going to be the Zenyatta and the D.Va behind it. That's my take on the situation. But we're definitely going to see what they're going to run out with, right? Because we have a set map pool, so we already know which maps we're going to do. That's the beauty of this tournament, right? There's going to be every match is just going to be 4 maps. Like, regardless of what happens, going to be 4 maps. No 5th map tiebreaker. No we won 3 maps, you're done. No, it's always going to be 4 maps. Really easy when it comes to that. And that's why we also can already look at what maps are we going to get today and what's that going to mean for the actual games. So starting on Lijiang Tower, then Hanamura, going over to Junkertown, ending on Eichenwalde. I think we're going to go all over the world with that one, really. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah, I love seeing the map variety, and it feels a little easier to kind of predict what the teams are going to be going through here with the maps already pre-picked for them. And honestly, looking at the maps, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of that pulled pork combo with the Orisa Hog just so powerful right now, really able to just pick off anybody. Doesn't matter if you're behind a wall, as long as your Orisa gets a good pull, your Hog times his hook, you can pretty much kill anybody as fast as possible, which you're probably going to be seeing a lot more in your ranked games because of that 2-2-2 lock, because right now they are one of the best combinations, and for that reason exactly, is that they can just annihilate somebody if they just hit their combos right.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to predict any metas coming out soon, but I have heard a lot of rumors in the higher tiers where everyone's just saying, you know what? If nothing changes balance-wise with 2-2-2, we're just going to see bunker everywhere. And I mean, it's the next thing, right? We've seen a lot of goats. Now you saw a little bit DPS coming back in, and now yes, there's still going to be DPS, but there's not going to be that much tank variety still, apparently. So who knows? Maybe we'll see some other things in certain maps. But I do think that the maps we're getting today lend themselves pretty well to that Orisa most of the time. Especially a map like Junkertown, where you look at that is just Orisa all written over it. On the defense, on the offense, there's like almost no place on the map where you cannot play her, and where another tank is like undoubtedly better. So definitely seeing the Omnic robot come out there.
And,
I don't know. It's a thing. Although Chimpanzees, that team name Could we assume they might play some Winston here and there? I know he's a gorilla, but
No, he's a
that's close
scientist.
enough, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, the thing with Bunker is it's always been in Overwatch ever since Orisa really came out. It's always kind of been like that strategy you more want to use on like a defense, but now you're seeing people run it more on the offensive, and just because of the combos it holds, and you can go like a triple sniper or maybe just a double sniper. It just gives you so much like room to work with, and you can still keep yourself very anchored down. And it just makes it really hard for anybody really to go in on your team because of how much just sustain you have with your Orisa, your Hog. And then, like I said, with the snipers, they can just play back. They don't have to be up close. That's not their job.
No.
And then just being able to really not have too much worry about getting melted super fast unless you were to get that pull hook is really something that you enjoy playing that Bunker, because it's just very nice to play around and it's very hard to play around. So that's why you usually see people go for the mirror. So then it's a matchup of better skill instead of picks.
Yeah, and do we want to really use the term bunker a lot? Because obviously you see that thrown around a little bit, and with bunker you really imagine that very static thing and the bastion behind the shield and everything just huddled up, in the bunker, so to speak. But this sounds like, the way you're describing it sounds a little bit different. So the term bunker might be a little bit, out there, but I don't know. It sounds like it's been changing a little bit in the way it's run.
Yeah, definitely. Because like people, I mean, with all the changes that's kind of been happening, and with it more coming to light, people have like called it the pulled pork combo. They've called it what's the other one? I forget. Yoink and oink or something like that. Oink and yoink.
Yeah, I heard that one yesterday for the first time. It cracked me up. So keep that one coming. But
names are very
there's
creative.
there's definitely creative. We've heard people call it the horse meta, but then again, I've always seen Orisa as more of a I wouldn't say a cow, but maybe like a cow, because especially that forest skin, right? Because she has horns and like that cow type of tails. It's more like a bull, maybe, but a bull is a male cow, so can't really call it a bull.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's weird. We've seen people call the centaur, but it also feels a little bit odd. I mean, she technically is because she has the legs and the arms.
I'd say that's actually probably the closest description you can get.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and a centaur is half horse, so I guess it makes sense. But she also doesn't have the human upper body. I don't know. You know what? It's just Orisa. Let's keep it at the quadruped omnic, and that's where we're at. She throws down shields. She has bongos on her back, so she's a little bit musical as well. And I don't know. I think the name bongos for the supercharger really reflects her rhythmic playstyle, because you really have to have that cycle, that rhythm, like shield and shoot and fortify and halt, and it's really that. She's a very rhythmic hero when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely, because like you're shooting out the halt and then shield goes down, hurry up, fortify, put the shield back up. So it definitely feels like you can go into like a sort of cycle, I think, and that maybe you kind of get like a beat down where it's like, all right, you have your hook on cooldown, my halt's on cooldown. All right, they're both back up. Let's go. Cooldown, back up. Let's go. So it does feel like it can be kind of rhythmic. Yeah, rhythmic is definitely the word I would say to go with. It's just very timing wise.
Yeah, I think that might also be why some people have like a problem with it. Every single time someone asks, or like says they have sort of like a problem playing Orisa, they don't really know how to do it. I always ask them like how much they're into music, basically. And usually they're not that musical people, so I think rhythm might actually have a lot to do with playing Orisa, guys. If you want to get good at it, take some dance lessons. Be a drummer. I don't know. Just bang it out, and then you'll get that Orisa skill as well, because it's just the flow. It's what people often refer to with a lot of heroes. And yes, with Orisa it's also a flow, but it's more of a tick-based flow, so more of a rhythm rather than just a flowing thing. I don't know. I think with Genji it's more of a flow, and then with Orisa it becomes more like the other side of the spectrum, where it's really just 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't know, but enough about Orisa. I mean, we're going to see plenty of her probably in the future. So let's look a little bit at what's going to happen here, because you alluded to it a little bit already. That yes, you can run various things on all of these maps. Are we going to see Bastion? Because we might see it on Junkertown, in my opinion, but are we going to see it anywhere else?
Honestly, I don't know. Bastion is just such a niche character, and recently they've been playing a lot more of, like I said, that double sniper, or maybe that triple sniper, because it is so powerful. Because the shield break on it's really good with that Hanzo, with the storm arrow. The Ash, if they're able to hit a dynamite over the bunker, massive damage. And you can build that Bob up super, super quickly there. And then once you get that Bob out, then it's just absolutely shredding people. And you got to focus on that. And it's just so hard to kind of play around that Bob.
Yeah, and that's probably a lot of the thing. Like people who think that Ash is not really a sniper because she doesn't do that much damage at range. You might want to pair her up with the Mercy, just damage booster, because then she's just as scary as the Widowmaker. She might have to be a little bit closer, but on a lot of maps it doesn't really matter, does it? So that's really a thing. For anyone wondering, by the way, why we're talking about heroes so much, that's just because we like it, not because the teams aren't ready. They're waiting. They're waiting for us, actually. We're not waiting for them. But in the meantime, while you're waiting, don't forget to check out. Like you might have done full screen. Just go out of full screen for a little bit. Underneath that Twitch page should be a panel with MVPs that you can vote on. It might not be there just yet, but it will be soon. And like once the games start, you can actually make a decision. Like who do I think really in this match deserves an MVP vote? Who was really doing well? It can be any role. Obviously, DPS obviously get the flashy plays a lot of the time. But maybe there is no DPS, so then you have to really find someone else.
Yeah, and like
MVPs, always an interesting concept, right?
Yeah. And sometimes it feels a little harder to pick your MVP because not only is it like sometimes you're not able to see the exact play of maybe that Widow getting just that one headshot that completely makes the map, or the positioning of the Lucio to be able to avoid that EMP and able to drop the beat, which really saves a team fight. So a lot of times when people look at MVP, I feel like they'll forget about those tanks or those supports that are really making the good positional plays to set up their DPS for those high value kills and kind of just setting the whole pace of the match.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's like you said. It's just sometimes difficult to pick one, and personally, I feel always bad that we're not voting of anyone. Like if I don't vote or I forget to vote, that makes me feel worse than when I vote for quote unquote the wrong person. Because it's all about that right to vote. We mostly live in democracies here. We know what it is like to vote. Maybe you're still too young, but you're gonna realize at some point voting is a thing you can do. But we always recommend it. I mean, if you have the right, why not use it, right?
Yeah, fair enough. But going into this match here, with seeing all the bunkers, and it just kind of makes it a little bit harder to pick out those key plays because you're gonna be seeing those hook pulls and then maybe a Widow headshot. The bunker is just very simple in its idea, and it's really easy to kind of all accumulate together. But other comps we might be seeing, you might see that ball quad DPS with the Mercy. That's always really good. Maybe you got the Pharah, Tracer, Soldier Sombra, or a Hanzo in there, something like that. And just with that, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with the bunker, I feel like, because then you have so much damage coming in from all these different angles. You have the Tracer that's going to just blink up out of nowhere, start shooting at you, so then everyone turns to them. The Pharah shooting rockets down on you, so then you just got to have everybody focusing the same person to try to even kill anybody, and it's just so hard because of how much movement some of these characters have and how far away they can be and still put in so much damage and effort onto your shield. So sometimes when you see the bunker come out, you will see that quad or triple DPS come out just to kind of put a lot more pressure on them and kind of disorient them in a way to make sure that they aren't all focusing down on this one group of people, but now everybody's turning and kind of doing their own thing, and that's when you can synchronize a good kill somewhere in there, whether it's on a Mercy or some other support, easier to take out in that bunker comp.
Yeah, and it's all about that synchronization because we talked about before, like how these solo characters can have a rhythm or a flow or something they can do, like actions in order. But a lot of that also, like the effectiveness of that rhythm also relies a lot on what the people around you do. So communication, teamwork is still very key. We always talk about how that was such a big deal in GOATs that a lot of teams like learned or had to learn how to actually properly play as a unit rather than just making all these solo plays. And with Bunker, that really doesn't change that much because you still have to worry about all those cooldowns like the halt hooks and the shield cooldown and maybe even Baptiste Immortality fields and just Widow positioning and making space for each other. It's like a hybrid between GOATs and Dive, I sometimes feel.
Yeah, and I think I really, as much as most people don't like GOATs, I think that it made the good teams better and the best teams better. It just made teams better if you really dedicated yourself to that composition, because like you said, it is so synchronized and you really all have to think as one collective mind, you know? So now going forward, you know, you're going to see teams getting better. You're going to see players getting better. And I imagine now, since we're going into a little more DPS, that maybe we even have some crazier plays. Like, it's just so hard to tell sometimes when you're going into such a meta shift as we are about to.
Yeah, and the meta shift. I mean, we can talk all day, actually more than probably all month, about what's all gonna happen. Like, I've seen the PTR, played on the PTR, I've read all the notes, done everything. I still have no clue how bad it's gonna be. Like how different it's actually gonna be. Like, there's still no telling of where it's gonna go, and they might get a new hero soon. So literally, if you haven't played Overwatch in 5 months and you think, oh, everything's going to be different, you're going to be in the same boat as everyone who's spraying right now, because everything's going to change so drastically that you're just going to have to relearn the game to a large degree, because no one's used to this whole 2-2-2 thing anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, for like the team compositions, for like players who go out of Overwatch ladder and kind of play more into the competitive scene with like tournaments and stuff like that, I think they're probably going to have I don't want to say the hardest time, but they are going to have maybe a little bit more difficult of time than someone who plays on ladder, because people who play on ladder, pardon me, kind of go with their own thing, you know, like they'll go with that 2-2-2 just because, like, hey, you got a couple guys who want to play DPS, oh well, we'll go around it, you know. So I think that it's going to be pretty weird to see these teams kind of go through those changes and help them understand more, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what it feels like to play a DPS again. Oh, this is fun, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I've personally been playing a lot of DPS and quick play on ladder and like whatever, because at some point I had to freshen things up. I've been a tank main for like forever. So I just chose like either support or DPS. You know what? I'll have DPS. I'll just go try and click some heads, because it just feels easier than having to learn support, which is far more reliant on like positioning and resource allocation. And with DPS, you're sort of playing solo a lot of the time. Like, yeah, you have to make sure your healers can heal you and that you're not like too far away from your team. But even that, in some cases, isn't really that bad of a thing. So I don't know. I think I took the easy way out, so to speak. But with this whole role system coming in, I might give everything a go. And I'm really looking forward to giving that chance. Played a little bit on the PTR today. It's definitely looking like it's going to be a fun thing for me, at least. How well it will work out in the competitive scene, like actual organized team play, that's another story. But for ranked, I can probably promise you that it's going to be at least more. You know what you're getting into, right? Because that was the whole point. You don't know what you're getting into when you play comp. Because like you said, oh, these guys, they want to play DPS, we have to play around it. That's not going to be a thing anymore, because you know that there's going to be 2 DPS and 2 tanks and 2 support. So I don't know. It feels more organized, but then again, if you're already playing organized in like an organized team fashion, that might not have been the struggle that you were in. So it's one of those trade-off things where what do you find more important?
Yeah, and I think we are about to go into the match here. It looks like everybody's ready. So starting off with the first map, like I said previously, Lijiang Tower, however you pronounce it. Looking at this map, normally you would see the goats on mainly control center, maybe with a Mei in there or Sombra in place of the Diva. But whether they decide to now go with that 2-2-2, like previously saying, because that's going to be the standard, you know, you can't really go over that now in Overwatch League and your competitive play pretty soon. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come out with. So going into this match, kind of a wild card. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we were finally getting to season Overwatch, so you won't have to only listen to us talking anymore, which is a good thing. MVP poll should not be live. I know we talked about a little bit before, saying that you can actually vote on MVPs. I think it should not actually be visible for you underneath the stream. We're already getting some questions from players. It's not a 2-2-2 lock. No, it's not. Because while, yes, it has gone live today, it's only gone live on the PTR. It hasn't even gone into Overwatch League yet. So just going to go play a unlocked mode here on Lijiang. We're starting on Night Market.
Yeah, and it looks like they were asking about the 2-2-2. And I think they kind of came to consensus.
Maybe they wanna. I think it was just one person asking, but
yeah.
okay. I think it looks like they both want to try. So our question's been answered. They both want to try the 2-2-2 lock. Well, it's not officially locked within the game, but they can still play it if they both want to do so.
Yeah, and it's looking like since it's not going to be a lock, maybe they do decide to go with a triple DPS. But right now, just looking at the teams, we can see Apex Deft going for that bunker, which, like said previously, is kind of what seems to be the new norm.
Yeah, I don't want to call this a bunker. This is the Clockwork Vendetta comp. Don't get me on that bunker stuff. This is Clockwork Vendetta through and through, so they're not going for that bunker. They're doing something different. Pancake trying to hack them on the side, but they already made it a point, so now the wrist is going to be set up. The whole hooks are going to be coming out to the aggressors. And Rico's trying to get in with that Reinhardt, but they have a long way to go and a lot of poke to take. So they're really trying to get their cooldowns back before they go in. But the wall is nice. Is anyone going to fall through that anti-nade? Doesn't look like it. Flawless does get frozen, but does get out alive here. So they're being pushed into this corner here. And it looks like the Chimpanzees actually might be overrunning this. They got Ray out. There's no mercy to res it. So it looks like this is a good first attack coming out. And the point will flip towards the Chimpanzees' favor.
Yeah, and going through that fight there at the start, the wall coming through did manage to get a couple off, but of course there's another doorway, so they were just able to walk right through that. But it looks like it actually might be changing up the tides right now.
Over. Yeah, fight wasn't over. There were like 2 or 3 kills that happened late in that fight, and then the numbers were still even. And the Rodok and the Mages do a lot more damage than the Lucio and the Reinhardt, so they're taking it back. 20% going for Chimpanzees, but that's all they're gonna go for now.
Yeah, going into this next fight though, lot of alts on the side of Apex Deft right now. So I'm sure you're about to see a lot of color on your screen, and an EMP coming up right now from Pancake could be very good in just completely dismantling their comp, because they're all so close together that this EMP could get everybody, and it gets nearly everybody
straight away. But it doesn't get the Lucio. The Lucio gets the sound barrier off. That's the one you want. Flawless falls, so does Leaf. But healer or an off tank, which would you rather have? Well, it looks like Polar is gonna even the tide. Says we both don't have an Ana. Ray falls as well, and it's just gonna be Chimpanzees retaking the point, going up to the 31% that Aptex has gotten for themselves.
Yeah, going to this next fight here, ultimate wise, it seems fairly even. I think that on the side of Apex, you're gonna have a little bit harder of a time getting onto this point here, because you have to have that stationary shield with Orisa. Meanwhile, over on the side of the Chimpanzees, you got that mobile shield with Ryan, so while it may be a lot harder to win them shield wars, it does make it a little bit better that you're able to move around a bit. But a good wall here to kind of separate the Ryan from the rest of the team, but they're going to just push up right past that. And oh my goodness, a big anti-nade.
That was really big from Phobia. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a big one like that one. Comes in from the other side as well, but they don't really get the follow-up from that. So it's 3 down for the Chimpanzees, 4, and Regrown Flawless gonna have to try and save it, but it's just gonna be the overtake here. And 66%, where are they gonna stop? The Chimpanzees, they do get a little bit of extra, but they did win the fight, so now they're gonna have to come back in.
Yeah, they won it fairly well too. Phobia able to actually hit that big anti-nade, which kind of set everything up for it. And then nanoing onto Ray, the Orisa here. It was fairly good, but now we can see that they're starting to push up a little bit more, be aggressive. He has that shatter, so Regrow just wants to make sure that he's not just going to be throwing that out into the other shield. Right now, it looks like they're about to come onto the point. They were able to cap it.
Oh, they're actually taking over it. The Blizzard is good, but will it freeze up enough? It does actually get Racer, but Racer is just alive because of the high charge Zarya. Regrow gets a nice shatter to finish that fight off, and it looks like Chimpanzees are just he's gonna take the control back. It's really a back and forth one, this affair.
Yeah, and there was a really big EMP made by Pancake there, so that way really just making everybody on the side of Apex not able to do, well, pretty much anything because of it. So with a big EMP like that, I believe it got all 6. It's going to make it really hard for you to still be able to go in and feel confident about being able to get those picks when the team has so much more utility than you do.
Oh, Ray hacks and just taken out, couldn't do anything to defend against that. The sound barrier does come in here for Apex, but it doesn't look like it could be enough. They have to start getting some more kills, and with Ghostly and Joyous Llama going down, that's not going to be the case. Looks like Chimpanzees are just going to be able to clean this one up, and Night Market will go to them. So first point gone. Not 100-0, so a little bit of a challenge, but looking good here.
Yeah, really good EMPs from Pancake. All around the team play just seemed really good and concise. On the side of Chimpanzees, they also had some pretty good team play. Or on the side of Apex, my bad, also had some really good team play. But going into this next point, you know, they kind of saw what Chimpanzees were running there, so maybe they're thinking, okay, do we want to go something to counter this? Maybe we just go our own ghost, but it looks like they're going to kind of lean more towards that triple DPS. Doomfist really good at dismantling comps with a lot of tanks, and that rocket, or the punch, I think it's called the rocket punch, but you know, his Doomfist, the right click, the thing that can just immediately delete you. You know, you just really got to be careful of that.
It's the punch you do with the Doomfist, but
looks like
the Doomfist does with the Doomfist, but yeah, he's not going to be on it. So we're going to see the Tracer coming out from Ghostly, though. That's a pick we haven't seen a lot of lately, so that's always exciting. Naive once again from Phobia, really has been hitting those. They're going to immediately lead to the kills on the Pancake and Flawless. Also, Racer falling here. Looks like this is going to be a quick take for the side of Apex, but I mean, we've seen that happen before, and then they just couldn't hold on to it for too long. So let's hope they can do a little bit better. Late sleep on a Ghostly. Will they get the kill? Yeah, that's a nice burst. Team effort.
Yeah, now going into this fight, you know, you're down the Tracer, able to get back fast, but the Tracer into this comp is going to be really difficult because of that Brigitte. So when you go in, you're going to have to be a little bit more careful. Thankfully for the last fight, the Brigitte wasn't completely with the team, but right now, someone else isn't with the team is Joyo, because they are unfortunately eliminated by Pancake here.
Yeah, and once again, they took the point early, but then they lose Ghostly, they use Joyous Llama, and they just give up the control straight away. And the Dragon does come out from Leaf, but doesn't really get anyone here. Not showing as much prowess as his namesake in the higher tiers of play. And Ray tries to go in with those mines, but just gets hacked up, anti-aid, and taken out. The EMP comes out as well, and it looks like they're just going to be able to hold on here on the Chimpanzee side. They already have overtaken them in percentage now.
Yeah, now going up to more middle of the range, I assume by the time they're going to be able to come back and cap this. There was a few ults used on the sides, well, both really. The EMP came out, the Nano, and you also lost your Hammond Mines, your Mercy ult, and I think they also used their Tracer Bomb. So going into this fight, looking at the ultimates right now, definitely doable, especially if you get a Nano onto that Pharah while they barrage, as long as you can stop that D.Va from completely eating all of it up. But they're going to elect to Nano the Hamster, who gets slept.
It does look like they're going to be able to just sustain this a little bit here. Ray's now hacked up as well. Doesn't want to do anything anymore. Does fall, but so does Flawless. And the Ana can be so impactful, especially if you don't have anyone to heal you through that barrage. So both tanks falling here. Just a DMAC for Racer, but will lose his life soon after. Pancake and Polar are trading a little bit here, though. So DPS really need to finish this one off. Oh no, Potato. Oh no, gets out, doesn't get out. And Pancake, as a Sombra, just tries to charge the EMP for a little bit. 73% is where it's going to stop, but that's basically one fight territory if they cap the point before the fight really starts this time again.
Yeah, it was a really good retake by Apex. They used that far ult in a really good position there by Joyous Llama. Able to just get in from that high angle, knowing that the D.Va wouldn't be able to eat up all the rockets. Really good damage output, but going into this, the EMP's got to come out, and you really got to be careful playing that Pharah Mercy, because if those EMPs just hit you, it's still going to be big. But so is this bomb possibly here.
I was going to say, not just the EMP, also when the bomb comes out, but they already get Joyce, Phobia, Ray, Freak, everyone falling on the side of Apex, and it's just going to be the Chimpanzees cleaning it up. Leaf puts up a valiant fight, actually trades off 2, but will just jump off the map after that. Maybe with a quick reset, they can still get there, but Oh No Potato with that speed boost will probably get back quick enough.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be able to get there just in time here, but Ray electing to go in a little bit sooner. Just waiting for everybody to kind of get around here. Joyce Llama able to take out Flawless. That's a really good pick to get rid of now.
That's a good pick. That's most of their healing gone. They still have some AoE in the form of Rig and Lucio, but they're being spread out a little bit, so that won't really do that much. It is just Leaf and Joyous Llama trying to do so much damage. Joyous Llama will fall. The rest cannot come in here for the side of Freak. Phobia will also fall, so they really need to start getting some kills here if you're Apex. Otherwise, you're not going to get victorious at this point. And it looks like the Chimpanzees are just sustaining through this, getting more kills. And they're probably going to be able to just get this. The Dragon gets stunned, doesn't even get stunned out, just gets eaten by Racer. And with that, looks like the last offensive efforts are going to be gone. The Barrage is trying, gets Polar, but that's just not going to do him off. So first map goes over to Chimpanzees in a... it looked like a very comfortable fashion.
Yeah, the first round was a little more, I'd say, close. This round seemed to favor them a bit more. I think maybe mostly because of just how open you can really get it with that Sombra, just able to get the good hacks in, good EMPs. Like I said, the 6-man from earlier, absolutely huge. especially when you're going into later game team fights. Building up that percentage early too really helps later in the game, because then you aren't quite as stressed and you feel a little more comfortable with where you want to go in during your fights. So it was looking pretty good there for either team. But of course, Chimpanzees did take the win here. Going next on to Hanamura. Now you're definitely going to be seeing more of that Arisa. I'm sure of it.
Okay, well, if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna hold you personally accountable. Just so you know. No, we've already seen a little bit of Rissa though, so it's definitely not inconceivable that at least Apex will throw that out, because they were definitely happy doing that. Chimpanzees, they were looking very comfortable just playing the Reinhardt and the Winston most of the time. So just going for the OG tanks, so to speak, the OG tank combos. So maybe they'll hold on to that one. I don't know. It really depends. It's Hanamura, so the bunker defense, especially just the Orisa defense with anything with it, is just going to be very strong. But who knows? Maybe we'll see some teams running the May Goat style composition with just walling people off the choke. It's a very various map.
Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of different compositions here. Recently, it has been more towards that like Baptiste, Mercy, Orisa. Maybe you got a Pharah, a Hanzo, an Ashe. It just kind of depends. Maybe they want to go back to that team composition where it was the Clockwork Vendetta with the Mei and the Torb to kind of have that turret put in that extra damage. And then, of course, you got the Torb itself being able to do anything like that. Pardon me.
Yeah, it is a thing. Bastion has been a more prevalent pick when you go to this bunker defense here on Hanamura. I'm very curious to see if we might see a Symmetra strat come out, either on the attack or the defense, because the Symmetra can be very effective on point B when you just teleport that Bastion to that one high ground that doesn't have stairs, but can also be very helpful on that attack. You know, is throwing everyone through the middle, into the right room using that teleporter, and just catching them out because they can't out-rotate you because you're already there. You're already on that point. I don't know. It's going to be a interesting one. Let's see what the Chimpanzees want to start on sidewise. Maybe I don't know if they want to change sides, to be honest. It doesn't have to. They don't have to if they want to.
Sorry about that. I was expecting a call. I didn't know it'd come so soon. Yeah, but going on the side of Chimpanzees here, after taking that first win, they're definitely gonna feel a little more confident going into this. They know that they can take the win away from Apex. So on Hanamura, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a sim played here, so that way they can teleport to the point really quickly in case they are running that. Yeah, that would definitely be a good idea. And starting off on the defense, Chimpanzees here. I always prefer to start off on the defense. It kind of sets the tone for the match, and I feel like it always puts less pressure on you, whether or if you were going on the offense first.
Yeah, it definitely is. But on the other hand, if you get a very strong first attack, that could just shift that sort of defensive pace advantage to you. So that is something that is a danger, but it's less of a danger than starting off on an attack and not doing that well. I do agree with you that it's usually the case that defense starting is more comfortable for a lot of teams. Yeah, but I mean, we'll see what's gonna happen. The Chicago Chimpanzees versus Apex Deft. It's one of those things where I really feel that it can go either way still, because control doesn't always dictate the pace. And especially when we've seen a little bit more meta variety coming out from Apex, that could definitely play in their favor on later maps.
Yeah, and I think that going into this, we're probably going to be seeing a bit more of a hard defense. I don't imagine that they'll be going for like a goatish defense here. It's not normally something you see, but like I said, not impossible. On the offense, though, Sim, Goats works out pretty well most of the time. But the Orisa also on offense could be very useful. Just setting up immediately over in the choke, or maybe even using the Sim with the Orisa instead to just get you immediately to point and kind of set yourself up there.
Yeah, it does look like they want to go for that bunker defense with the Roadhog and the Sombra, though. So not the Diva that we see often. Now, she has been changed, of course, so she's not as powerful as she used to be with that defense matrix. But you still see it come out because the point contest is really good, and you still have some map mobility. But I guess that's what the Sombra's for. She's just there to roam around a little bit, that solo flank, really. I don't know what you want to call it. A roamer is probably the best best terminology to use in that case. It looks like they don't want to come out. They might actually come out with the Symmetra here. Joyous Llama does look like they wanna stick on that for now.
Yeah, and they're gonna switch. Okay, no, they're gonna stay on the Lucio. Okay, for a second I thought they would go over to the Baptiste, which would have been a different team comp. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. But yeah, this Sombra here, a big part of it is gonna be the Sombra able to hack the Reinhardt shield, because that's really what's gonna be defending them. They're gonna like to teleport over to the right side, so just slowly make their way over to the point. But they are on the side of the Chimpanzees, going to just rotate back over to the point. They know what they want to do. They want to teleport on the point. We're not going to let you do that. You throw your teleporter down here, but guess what we're going to do? We're just going to shoot it and shoot you. So it's going to make it a lot harder for them to attack here.
They're going to teleport up on this high ground here. Just over this ridge, they're going to probably try and drop behind them. So they're definitely in a good position to do something here. The teleporter is it's not really necessary anymore because they're just above the point. But again, the rotations come out here for the defense. The charge doesn't get anything from Ray. And now they have to sort of hide behind this bell in the middle. With Ray being hacked, there's just so much opportunity to get the damage in around the shield because it's not there. They do finally get there is a shield down, and that fire strike just gets to straight away. The healing, the shields, the mortality field just was enough, and it looks like that attack. They just took over a minute to just crack that, and that's not something you see happening often with bunker compositions.
Yeah, they definitely made the right call, teleporting up top and then trying to drop on them through the stairs there. But Pancake was able to actually call out that they were going to do that, and so they were able to rotate back over to the other side of the point before they were completely collapsed upon. But it looks like they're going to teleport over here on the outside, which is probably getting called out right now by Ono Potato. So they all got to move down over to the point here. About to be a very scrappy fight. Pretty good EMP, though, getting all 6.
Very nice EMP coming out straight away from the defense there. That's why you're on that Sombra. He's just completely stifled that second attack on the point B. The snowball not going to come in. And the Chicago Chimpanzees gonna live to fight another day. 5 minutes left still, though. They do have a large task ahead of them because 5 minutes should usually be enough, and there's so many ultimates for the attack.
Yeah, they have so many ultimates here on the side of Apex that it's just going to be really hard for Chicago to do much here. Close to the Nano, so the Nano could possibly, if they get a big pick, maybe onto the Moira, or if the Sim falls off and buys them a little more time, that also helps. But right now they're just up top. They know that they're down a Sim, so they're kind of pushing in on them a little bit, knowing that it's going to be a 5v6 going in. Just keeping the pressure on, seeing if they can't get a quick pick. Pancake now in the back line, just making sure that everyone knows where everyone is, calling out the enemy team, just making sure that they have them on check and understand where everyone is. That way there's no one on the flank or there's no one trying to make a really sneaky play.
Yeah, they've gone. Joyous Llama is back, and now they're going to go in with full force. Like we said, they have a lot of ultimates. There's the first one already. They don't have the Dragon because Pancake takes down Ghostly. That was probably the combo they wanted to go for, and that is where the pause is going to come in. Might be a disconnect from someone, in all honesty. That's an odd moment to pause otherwise.
Yeah, but while we're paused here, might as well talk about that big pick onto Ghostly there. Getting grabbed, they really didn't have anything going into it. They threw the Nano in there to try to save the Rhine. So pretty close there. That could have been a team wipe. Still, they do have the possibility. The ults still favor on the side of Apex right now. So I wouldn't say that the fight is over quite yet going into this, but it's definitely looking a lot harder now and a lot more possible for the Chicago Chimpanzees to keep this hold.
Teleport still comes out, but it's a very short range one. It's like 2 meters. What is that? But they're getting the kills here. They're getting Racer. They're getting Polar. So all those ultimates they had really working out. But that Anti-Day and that Shatter, that's so huge. It's a combination. The Dragon somehow gets Pancake, but you know that these respawns are going to be favored for the defense. You know the attackers really need to clear them out to get at least one tick, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. The supports and Ghostly going to run for the hills, and if they're going to get out, that's going to be a miracle. Ghostly not going to be so lucky. But the supports, they have the mobility. They can get out.
Yeah, that's such a big fight to win. Like,
it
absolutely massive
good.
For the
Chimpanzees. It looked good for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a fairly good grab. Just being able to pick off Ghostly there, just so, like, right before he was able to actually get off those dragons, he was able to keep them. But I mean, since he wasn't able to use them, it just made it so much harder for them. They were still a little bit far away. And when you're on the defense here, you just have a little more sustainability because of how fast you can make it to point. So they were just able to get everyone back in time. The rally comes out, maybe throw the anti-nade in there from Flawless. That was able to pick off the Rhine a little bit easier. But Ghostly giving a little bit of revenge here on Pancake starting this fight off.
Yeah, already Pancake out, and that's big because he had the EMP up. They need to now start getting this fight done quickly because otherwise the respawn's just going to go in. The EMP will still be there. Ray doesn't get anything with the Shatter, but the grab is thrown out here. They get the follow-up. Regrow with the Nano Reinhardt. Yes, you get the kill on the Flawless Ghostly, but that one Ana, that's not going to get you the point there. So looks like another attack stifled here by the Chimpanzees, and are doing a good job here. They're really bouncing back from these number deficits properly.
Yeah, and that was a really good block by Regrow there. He knew that Ray really wanted to hit that Shatter there. There was about 3 or 4 people lined up. So if he would have hit that Shatter, that could have been a point-taking Shatter, to be honest with you. Going into this next fight, still have the EMP, about to have a Shatter of his own for Regrow. Still have the barrier. So I think this fight for Apex is going to kind of be a little bit more of a dry push. Maybe see if they can't pull something out like that EMP. That's going to be so crucial. And able to pick up 4 people right now. Pancake, though, going down immediately.
Yeah, Ray will also fall, though, so Reiner for a Sombra as a defensive team on Assault. You usually take that trade. They're trying to still do some damage, and Ghostly might throw out the Dragon, because it is a very nice, narrow corridor, but doesn't choose to do so, because they know they kind of need that Reinhardt to really push through there.
Yeah, now they have that Grab Dragon combo back again here, so I'm sure they're going to try to use that again, but now they do have the sound barrier, so I think you're about to see that come out.
Be enough. It does come out here, and it does do a lot, but they're still going to get Regrow. They're going to get Oh No Potatoes. It was just Racer, and he was very low as well. Flawless doesn't even get the Sleep Dart, so 4 down in a blink of an eye. 5 as I say that, and it looks like it's going to be the point, at least 2 ticks going over, maybe even the 3rd straight away. Polar makes it with the rally, but they need to get something more. They need to start getting some kills, otherwise this defense is going to fall here. And with just over a minute left, they might even get it. No, they're at least going to get it under a minute. That's nice to see.
Big Shatter.
Oh, what a huge Shatter! Regrow, just when you thought it was over, he pulls them back in, and it's going to be over regardless, but that could have gone a very different way if they get some kills out of that.
Yeah, he was able to pick up 4, but Freak able to stay behind the a weird, I don't know what exactly you would call that when you enter the point, the
lantern pole thing.
Lantern pole thing, yeah. Yeah. He was able to hide behind the lantern pole thing, of course. The old classic lantern pole thing. Freak was able to stay around that, so he didn't get shattered. Using that beat there, that was a very, very clutch beat by Freak. Yeah, you really love to see those if you're playing that Lucio. You see your 4 teammates down, and it's like, all right, it's go time. And then that's exactly what happened. It was go time. He dropped that beat and really just preventing a lot of that damage. But talking about the beat that came out for the side of the Chimpanzees, it was a good beat. It did exactly what it needed to do, and it was preventing that dragon from killing everybody. Only issue was that Ray pushed up right into that Graviton and was able to just swing his hammer around, just putting in that extra damage, making it a lot easier to pick everybody off.
Yeah, it really looked like that was the case. I haven't, unfortunately, not been able to find the original Japanese name for a structure like that. The closest I could find is a more granite one. It's called a Toro. But unfortunately, that's not what we have here because it's wood and rice paper. I don't know, guys. Let's just call it a lantern pole and be done with it. Maybe a lantern pillar, whatever you want to say it is. But gonna be seeing it on the other side here. Looking like another bunker defense. I mean, you know what? Google is your friend, and if you don't use Google for things like that, then what do we even have Google for these days, guys?
Yeah, very fair.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, we are seeing the Bastion again, just like you said. We're seeing a very similar.
Big difference is that big difference are those Diva and the Junkrat, no, not the Sombra and the Hog. Is that there a reason why they would do that?
I don't know. Honestly, most of the time you do want that Sombra here on the first point because that Hammond could knock off your Risa or your Mercy, so the Sombra would be able to hack them before it comes through, making it a little bit easier for Regrow now to kind of have a bit more space, unless he were to get stuck in that mine. A hack onto the Bastion right now.
There was a threat to go in. Between 3 targets behind the shield got the hack out. The second one does get cancelled, but Pancake does find Phobia somehow, so Phobia... Really a bit of pickle there. A lot less healing left for the defense now. Enjoy the Slama falls as a result. Looks like this is going to be another quick attack here. About in the same space, to be honest, because we're still with they've almost spent a minute on it. And then they're going to go over to B. Polar gets another 2. I mean, it's just over at that point. You lose the Baptiste, you lose one of your big damage dealers, and I don't know, that really generally doesn't really work out for you that well.
Yeah, the big pick there was definitely that Baptiste because he provides that invincibility shield that you have that keeps you at least 40 HP at all times as long as it's up, not hacked or destroyed. So it makes it a lot more easy to stay on the point and not have too much to worry about. But going into the point now, they don't have that. Instead, they're going to be running a Winston and double main support. But Ghostly's just going to pick off Racer right here, and that's pretty big for the defense. It's going to give them a little bit more time to keep themselves collected, gain a little bit more alt charge. And speaking of alt charge, looking on the side of the Chicago Chimpanzees, they got quite a bit to work with here. So it's going to be very hard, just like previously, to prevent this push. But I feel like since Chimpanzees were able to do it, it's definitely not out of the question for Apex, too.
Flawless is trying to find some angles. There's that infra side out, but it looks like Ana's just hiding a lot. There's the EMP, gets 2 hacks, I think. Not that many, not really that big ones. Flawless does get pick on Phobia here, but Pancake falls as well, and that Res is likely going to come in here. So while, yes, you got a few pickoffs, Ghostly is just going to pull it back together with Freak, getting both the Res and the kill on Racer. Sure that Mirage comes out, but I think they're going to switch anyways, because this fight doesn't look winnable at all for the Chicago Chimpanzees. And yeah, those mines really show you that they might just want to get a few kills with a fun ultimate, but they're really not going to stick on this one, it seems.
Yeah, and once you really get on this point, you don't really want to have that DPS heavy comp, because it is just a lot easier for the tank heavier comps to kind of make their mark. But with the Widow here, Ghostly is doing fairly well, getting a couple good picks off at the start of these fights, and able to win that Widow duel was very, very crucial for them. Going into that, because the Widow can just put in so much damage. Right now they're speed boosting, going straight to the point here.
Pancake was harassing Phobia, but Phobia meleeed him out, so Pancake's now going to get back to the fight on that Sombra. Nowhere close to the EMP, but there's a nano onto Ray. He's going to be able to zap his way through the enemy team. Like, I don't know, not really a knife through hot butter, but it's definitely a lot of lasers through hot butter. And they do get 2 picks straight away, Polar and Oh No Potato. And Ray gets out with a sliver of HP, antidated as well. I don't know how he lived there. He didn't pop the Primal, so I guess that's fair that he didn't have to. But wow, that was a close one. And they do repel them. It wasn't really a proper fight. It was just a little bit of poke, and that led to some kills. But yeah, working out for them so far. I mean, it's still 3.5 minutes, but looking good. I mean, they still have to build up ultimates on the attack, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, and one thing they really got to be careful for is when they do eventually build this EMP, if they pick off Freak there, it's going to be really, really difficult for them going into the fight. But they're slowly just getting their ultimate charge, almost a nano, almost a shatter, almost that EMP. Going into this next fight could be pretty big. Definitely has the possibility to kind of take over the fight here. Right now, the Widow is finding a hard time to try to get picks because of all the shield and all the heavy characters, per se. Nano's going to come out. So is the self-destruct.
Pancake getting nothing over that Sombra. Just got slept and taken out like on the sidelines. So I hadn't even charged that EMP even further. They try to get a charge out on that Winston, but if he's Primal Rage, you're not going to do anything. Leaf just finishes off the last 2 kills. It's just going to be Racer trying to get away. It looks like that's going to be able to do, but Pancake's just going to go over to the D.Va. No more Sombra. It looks like they had his number all the time.
Wow, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I think they should have kept the EMP and gone in like that, but maybe they probably know something that I don't. I think what their goal is to possibly put more harassment on the back line with this D.Va, and kind of go in more as a team, because the Sombra, of course, can put in that harassment and kind of get them focused off of them, but the D.Va with the larger health pool is just going to be a little bit easier to kind of stay alive if you do decide to go in on that.
I do group up a little bit more on those high grounds now because they don't have to worry about getting EMP'd, so they can just go in together. There is still, of course, the Graviton danger, but Leaf is just scanning that. Just wants to see when the Grav comes out. The Sound Barrier and the Shatter come out here for the side of the Chimpanzees, and there's the Grav, but there's also the Transcendence, and no Sombra to hack that one out. So while all the ultimates have been used here for the attack, they haven't gotten anything. It's only a Nano coming up soon from Flawless, and he really needs to be able to get something with that because the Self-Destruct looks like it's going to get Racer, and this attack, I mean, they're going to still try, but I don't think they're going to get much out of this because they've already lost 2 people, and the defensive spawns are so close. Ray falls, though. Pancake loses the mech. There's the Nano in the regrow, so they will at least get a tick because of that, well, scary, glowing Reinhardt on the point that they don't want to touch, but that anti-nade is really good, so the supports will be able to heal him, and he just has to back off. They just don't have the numbers, and they haven't had them for a while.
Yeah, and honestly, I was talking about the Widow pick and how they won't be able to actually like get those big pickoffs there, but since they weren't really focusing Ghostly at all, they were just able to rain in damage from afar and really not have any issues whatsoever up until the end of the fight there when Pancake kind of realized like, oh wait, we need to focus more on this Widow. They're hitting us and we're going down like 100 HP pretty much every other second. So Now going into it, they switch over to the Winston, probably to take care of that Widow a bit more, but don't really have that Widow anymore. Gonna switch over to Reaper. Very smart pick. Obviously, they were looking at the team composition.
Yeah, that's how destructive zones a little bit. Doesn't really get any kills, but Joyce Llama will be able to be killed because of that split. They get flawless though, and all that healing gone is going to be a big problem here for the attackers. The self-destructive leave gets polar. Yes, they get the kill on the Baby Diva, but you've already lost 2, 3 on the attack here, and Ghostly is just starting to pop off on this Reaper. Gets 2 kills into DMAC. We'll just finish it out with a kill on Pancake, and 4 seconds left. Looks like this is going to be a hold here on point B from the side of Apex, and that means we're going to go into a 1-1 series so far. I mean, that's fun. We are getting a 1-1 here. It's not going to be over. I mean, we're obviously always going to play the 4 maps, but I like it.
Yeah, and that map was also pretty close. Both maps kind of seemed... the first map seemed like it may have been a little more towards the Chimpanzees playstyle, but this map, I mean, it was fairly close. They both kept the first point really quick, and it kind of waited until they got down to the wire to get on that second point and get that cap percentage there.
You know, it looks like it's going to be a. I mean, we're obviously going to go to the next map, and we're in a 1-1. So I'm just looking forward to like another close map, and just actually 2 more close maps because we're definitely going to get them. But like which do you think is going to be more favored towards which team? We have Junkertown and Eichenwald yet. Do you think it's going to go like more in the favor of either one of those teams, like over both maps, or is it really another 1-1 situation where they could potentially just draw out on a 2-2?
You know, it's really hard to tell. I think Junkertown, we're probably going to see those snipers kind of be a little more prevalent, and Ghostly was doing pretty good on his sniper. So I think on Junkertown, it's going to come down to who wins those Widow duels. If they do both elect to go the Widow, maybe they want to do a full-on bunker, Bastion, Baptiste, maybe a Torb too, who knows. But I think that going into Junkertown, definitely a coin flip. I have no clue how this one's going to go personally. It could be either way. Going into Eichenwald, I think that Chimpanzees might have a little bit of the upper hand there because they on Lijiang Tower did run that tank heavy comp, as so they did on Hanamura, of course. But the way that Eichenwald kind of is positioned with its first point, I think that they might be able to cap the first point fast. But once you get past that, I think it's all just going to come down to who's really making the bigger plays on which side.
Yeah, if you want to look for big plays, go for the MVP poll, guys. Like that's the one where you really can acknowledge big plays from everyone. You can vote on every player in this match. You can vote for all of them once, but you know that will cost you a few bits. So if you don't want to do that, just make sure you vote on the person you most think deserves. You've only seen 2 maps, still gonna see 2 more, so you have a little bit of time. But you know what? You can vote now if you already think you know. And there's definitely players that you can pick out for that. I'm not gonna name names because I'm not gonna make you biased, but plays have been made already, Zach, haven't they?
Yeah, they definitely have, and I'm going to be that guy. I'm really looking at Phobia right now. I think Phobia's doing an amazing job. They're hitting the anti-nades. Moira, they're playing fairly well, so right now my MVP is Phobia. I'm not trying to be that guy. I know you said you didn't want to sway anybody. Yeah. Of course, great players on both teams so far, but I've kind of been looking more at Phobia, who's really just kind of, I think, been more of an unsung hero, which it seems like happens to supports a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think Ana is one of those supports that can really show nice plays, though, like hitting the big sleep darts, the big anti-nades. They're more visible actions because they're more offensive. And usually offensive actions usually get more recognition from viewership, from anything, really. Also from us as casters. So it's really something that Phobia is able to show off, and that Ana especially. I do want to say that I kind of feel like Apex is a little bit of an edge here in the most situations because they've been showing more adapt to the Orisa compositions, more adapt to the non-standard GOATS compositions in general. They've shown to be a little bit more flexible, in my opinion, also more comfortable to flex. And while, yes, we saw some changes coming out and some different looks coming out here for the Chicago Chimpanzees, I don't think they're as comfortable on the non-standard or the things that haven't been standard for quite a while already right now. So that's why I'm gonna give the edge here a little bit. But you know what? I'd like to see them change my mind because I always like to be wrong or proven wrong, and that's what these players want. They obviously don't hear me, but if they could, they definitely would.
Yeah, and on the defense here right now, we're gonna be starting off with the Chimpanzees. Looks like they're gonna be running that pulled pork double sniper. You know, very classic now composition that you're gonna see, and that you probably won't stop seeing for a little while on this map at least. Meanwhile, on the attack, it looks like they're also gonna be running the pulled pork double sniper. Phobia's gonna go back over that Ana, I'm sure. Yeah, and it's I
It's
believe it's a
mirror.
mirror
It's
count.
mirror. It is mirror,
So
guys.
I always like watching the mirror comps because then it's like it comes down to pure player skill and seeing who is just better on their heroes.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's gonna play the double sniper bunker the best of them all? I don't really know what's gonna be. We're gonna be seeing a little bit of an Australian standoff right now happening with just these two shields, and he's gonna be poking away against each other. But they are progressing really well. They're really taking that space. The car's just moving on steadily. There's the first halt hook attempt. It's not gonna get anything because that Orisa bug is still there. Oh, bug, where she just flies in the air when she use Fortify. It's
Yeah,
big empty, but they don't really get anything from it, do they? That's another halt. That's a hook. That might get a kill on Racer. That's a lot of damage, but he does get behind the shield again, so they just get to heal that back up. And Ray just dodges another halt hook with that Fortify, but so does Regrow. The Dragon buys enough space, and it can't just get to the cart. So don't seem to be able to do it. Racer gets nanoed though. Leaf under a lot of pressure here and doesn't get behind the shield quick enough. That is a very large threat, that Hog. They do trade out on Polar here, and Pancake also falling. So the snipers will have free reign, no angles to be worried about anymore, and that's going to be very important. They just have to hide behind this this hut here, and they can't do it. Oh no, Potato not being able to benefit from the irrigation system here, and yeah, it's just going to be Ghostly going closer and closer to trying to get through that shield. Racer sleeping, and they get the Orisa. That's the one you wanted. That's the one they can't rest because their Mercy's dead. It looks like the cart is going to finally make it. Good start here. It's just slow and steady. They just got there. They never lost the fight. It just took a little bit longer.
Yeah, and earlier with that anti-nade, it was actually like very useful because since they were antied and they couldn't get any heals, they knew they had to back off. So that just gave a lot of space, on their side, which ultimately made them feel a lot more pressure. They had to stay over near the stairs, and then they had to slowly push themselves back out. So I think that was a pretty good anti-nade, even though it didn't pick up any kills, because it did gain them all that space. And going into this next fight here, you see a lot of ults on both sides, and another good anti-nade.
A lot of anti-nade. Phobia. I mean, let's not. I want to try and focus on other people, but Phobia's just doing too much, guys. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Diva gets shot, but doesn't get res back up. Oh no, Potato taken out by that Dragon, and that Mercy means that they're definitely going to have a numbers advantage now with Flawless also falling. Yeah, you have Pancake and Polar going behind as well, but if they don't get enough kills, this is just going to be point B taken straight away because they're not regrouping. It's just Polar behind them, and he has slept. They don't even have to go and deal with him. Big Freak and Phobia might, and then Ghostly as well. They will finally get him there because they don't have to really push on the front lines, but that's weird because now we haven't seen any contest come in here so far from Chimpanzees. They're really a bit crumbling after the Hanamura map, it seems.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to not taking as much space as they can. It's really hard to make space right around now because of the anti-nades coming out and the Hog pushing up pretty far. So it makes it hard to kind of get in their back line and kind of disrupt them a little bit, and that's why they're going to go with this Winston Diva to get more into their back line and disrupt it. And on a map like this, or a lane like this, it does make it a little bit easier because of how open it is for these dive characters to kind of show how much damage they can really output here.
The Pancake Sombra is back, and this time the Polar Genji will be accompanying it. A lot of pressure from Regrow onto that high ground platform there, but don't really get any kills out of it until Polar just comes from the other side, pincers them in, gets Ghostly, will fall here to that Venom Mine, but in the meantime, there's just going to be kills coming out. Well, not really a lot. Ray will fall. I think Ray is a big pick to lose here because that Orisa just does so much for you. But it doesn't really matter. You don't need a main tanker. There's nothing that shoots at you because Ghostly is just popping off. And I don't know. Like it feels like every now and then they get this opportunity to open stuff up and then they just pull it back. They get overrun by Apex here.
Yeah, and once there's one pick, Ghostly just is kind of able to find a way around and get those last few pickoffs and really clean up the fight. Looks like they're going to try to go in on the dive on the Mercy. If they take out the Mercy, it's going to be an amazing pick right here. It's going to be really hard, though. Rigo's going to have to back off.
They really need some kills here, but they're not getting anything. Instead, it's going to be Regrow falling Ghostly on a tear here with another headshot. Gets another kill. D-Mac here on the Racer. Finds Polar as well. D-Mac gets Racer. It's just the tank sustaining, the DPS popping off, and there's nothing they can do on the defense. They're just not getting anywhere close, and it looks like they're just going to be able to complete the map here pretty soon. Regrow's trying with that Primal Rage, but I mean, you can try all you want, but with that Dragon coming through, the Dragon Blade Polar on 1 HP tries to still do something, but just gets taken out as well. Looks like this is going to be the end. Oh no, Potato falls to the Dragon, and yeah, I don't know. There was just not really a lot of defense coming out, was there?
Yeah, I think the offense though was just like, I don't really blame the defense. The offense was just kind of on a roll, you know. Once they got that first point, it kind of felt like, okay, now they just keep taking space and keep taking space. Before they actually had a time on the side of, I believe, Chimpanzees to actually kind of take the space that they wanted, which made it really hard for them. And then at the end there, Flawless was able to get a good anti-nade on both the tanks, but unfortunately no one was there. And it just makes it kind of hard at times when you have an offense that really starts going and they really start feeling confident. And then sometimes it might put a little bit of like a scare in your mind. But I mean, they were able to get it down to like 3 minutes. So 3 minutes isn't an impossible time. They can still definitely go through and come back with it. And it looks like they're going to go with a little bit of a pirate ship possibly here. They could switch it up, of course. On the defense, though, they're going to be doing a very similar strat here with the Mei, Bastion, Baptiste, Mercy, D.Va, and Orisa. The D.Va is going to help with those halts because you can eat them, and if you're just taking away that halt, what's the point of getting the hook in? And also, even if the halt works and they do get the hook, as D.Va, you can do a quick fly-in, defense matrix, and then fly back if you're fast enough. So going into this first point here, not a mirror comp like before, very similar in style,
not close enough. Not close enough.
But not
it's going to be the pirate
enough.
ship versus the pirate fortress. I think you can just call it, because it's that's how close enough they are. Not quite the hook there, but they obviously don't have the ship sailing because they don't have the payload of the defense. Looks like they're just going to spam out a little bit, see who gets the first kill. A lot of this is going to rely on those amplification matrices, and Oh No Potato is charging up to that so fast. Already has it, basically. I think it's 20% away. Phobia is almost at 60, but it's not going to be enough. Is that if an amplification matrix is there for the attack first, they're going to win. They hook Phobia in, but they don't get the kill. And in fact, it's going to be Ghostly getting the kill on the Polar, and Racer just continuing that tear that he had on the offense. And Ghostly does get hooked, but doesn't get finished off. So 2 beautiful hooks there from Polar, and just not the follow-up being there. Both amplification matrix coming out. The fight is still not over, guys. It's going to keep going. Leaf will fall here. It's going to be Pancake. Take it out too. Phobia will get res back up, but so much has been gone already. And those amplification matrix, especially with that Bastion ult, you just one-shot everything. I don't think there's a lot you don't one-shot with that Bastion ult.
Yeah, the Bastion right now is absolutely going ham. Pancake doing amazing work right now. I believe taking out 4 or 5 people there. Maybe the same person twice because of a res. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, no, that was a really good comeback from the side of Chimpanzees. They had the ultimates, they knew what they wanted to use, and Pancake just really got a lot of value out of that. Polar's been hitting those hooks, but like I said, you got to be careful because playing that D.Va, you're just going to be able to eat whatever they're throwing at you. And it doesn't look like they might be able to get on the point in time, but yes, it will.
They drop down. Leaf only gets to keep healing Polar, and that's a big one. Both superchargers out already. Ghostly is just spamming and spinning to win. Pancake, meanwhile, is trying to run around. But Regrow gets frozen up. Pancake gets frozen up. So the Mei really paying off there. That's why you pick it. And with that, they're just going to clean sweep that team fight. Nothing lost on their side. And just Polar is already respawned by the time that's over. But it's a clean team kill. Nicely done.
Yeah, the Blizzard is so useful because of, like, it slows everybody down, and of course, if you freeze somebody, they're pretty much a sitting duck. So it makes it really hard to heal them because of how much damage they're going to be taking. So Flawless trying to keep Regrow and Pancake up, wasn't quite able to just because of how much damage was going to be put through onto them. Taking high ground right now, though, on the side of Apex in a pretty good spot. It's going to make it hard for them to go in, but this invincibility shield might be able to make it for him, but Leaf with a really good hook over on a Pancake.
Yeah, really good hook once again from Leaf coming out. For last time they got Polar, this time they get Pancake, and those are just 2 heroes that you don't want to lose when you're attacking here. And especially with those spawns not being a lot further than they initially were, because of where the payload is. They're gonna really have to reset once they lose someone, and they have a lot of ultimates. But if you keep losing someone before the fight starts, you're not gonna get used to them, do you?
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard for you to actually see value out of your ultimates. But with how many ultimates they have, it could be a little bit easier for them. Gonna be using it here. They're just really trying to dissect how they want to go about this. They might try to hide over here in this little corner. Pancake gonna pop his ultimate. He was big on it before. Can he be big on it again? He's gonna get taken out by Ghostly though, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Immortality Field wasn't really there in the right place, and there also wasn't an application matrix like there was last time, so the one-shots weren't quite as powerful. Phobia will fall to Polar, though. Polar on a tear here just goes up on that Roadhog and just gets half the team there. Ghostly and Phobia, big ones to lose. Yes, Flawless will fall, but is that going to be enough here to hold on your defense side, on your defensive side? It looks like it, because they get Oh No Potato, they get Polar, Regrow also, another good Blizzard coming out from Debug, and Pancake. I mean, you get back to the cart, but with 17 seconds left, they really have to regroup really quickly, or they're going to have to fight a fight without Racer, which just looks like it's going to be the second option.
Yeah, right now it looks like Ghost is going to pull his ultimate back out here. And everybody's going to be able to make it to the point in time. It seems like they're going to take out Racer, though. That's unfortunate to be down that Diva already. But Ghosty with a great shot over on a Flawless there.
Yeah, Flawless and Racer already down. Oh No Potato will fall. Looks like this is just going to be done and dusted here. The beautiful map of Junkertown, not going to be long for this match. So it looks like this is going to be the 2-1 lead for Apex. And that was a little bit more convincing than I thought it was going to be, but not unexpected.
Yeah, and that was, at one point there, Polar was able to pick up 3 people, I believe, and did a really good job trying to take them down. And they took down the Bash, and I think they took down the Baptiste as well. But the issue was that Debug was just still all the way over in the rest of the team, and really without that hook to be able to stun them, they were just kind of able to freeze everybody and stall for time a little bit more, and then just find a couple headshots. Ray was able to put down his shield and kind of keep themselves sustained there. So the offense was really good. I think they still could have made it to that first point, but the fact that the defense was just in a very high position far away made it really difficult for them. So it was a little close there at times. Maybe 1 or 2 minuscule things could have changed completely how this would have went. And I think that just going into the next fight here, they probably don't feel as confident as they should for the Chimpanzees, but I believe that they can still really take the map of Eichenwald.
Oh, it definitely can. Eichenwald obviously not the same way as Junkertown works. The high ground and the inner areas of the last point especially working very differently here. So it could very well go the other way. But I mean, I gotta stress again, I think Apex looks a little bit more adaptable, a little bit more, I wouldn't say innovative, but they look to be going with the times a little bit more. Whereas I do think Chimpanzees are really running compositions that, for instance, in Overwatch League, I haven't seen entirely in this last stage that we've been seeing. So they're, when it comes to that, you're always already looking at them for Overwatch League terms, looking to be a few months behind. And I think Apex has gone a little bit further forward into the high tier meta development. Whether that's a big deal within this current game, that's another question, but it looks like it's definitely playing a role here.
Yeah, I could definitely see us going into 2-2 finish here, because just this point on Eichenwald, it just kind of makes it hard to push in. I feel like this is a really hard first point to get on a lot of maps, because I think you can easily do the full hold here. If you just have a good team setup, maybe you run that Arisa or that Ryan. You don't usually see the Winston as the main tank here on the defense. You might see it on the offense. But what it's going to come down to is just how well they're going to be able to keep their space. That kind of seems like it's what it's been this whole time, really, was just like who's taking the space. Whether it's Apex who's able to take the space away from Chimpanzees, maybe Chimpanzees take it away from Apex, you know? Because in that first map, Chimpanzees was really just going in and making as much space as they could, and they were really going for it. But then Apex, the second map there, they both were fairly even, but in the last map there on Junkertown, Apex definitely was a little more aggressive taking their space. So I think coming into this match, you're probably going to see Chimpanzees hopefully be a little more aggressive against Apex here, because Apex does seem like they want to kind of get into the fight or kind of take control of the ground completely.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely possible we're going for 2-2. Sorry, for 2-2 in that reason. Sorry, it's been on my mind all day. I can't help it. But yeah, Apex has been looking very good on the last two maps. I mean, they sure Hanamura could have maybe been like a little bit less less close, a little bit closer than it ended up being. But Junkertown, I think Junkertown just really looked very good for them. If you finish with 3 minutes left, and even if Chimpanzees captures that first point and maybe the second there, it's going to be so hard for them to come back into that game and turn it around that it's just hard. And Apex has been looking very good. Like I said, I really feel I'm on the Apex train right now. But you know what? If you're a viewer and you think I shouldn't be on the Apex train because Chimpanzees just have a player that's just popping off right now, just doing amazing work, vote for them in the MVP vote. No, prove me wrong after the match, and then I'll just be like, you know what? They might have lost or they might have won, but it's all about that MVP vote. I won't even care about the match result at that point anymore, Zach. I'm going to be honest with you. It's all about the MVP for me.
Yeah. Going into this match, you said you're more on favoring on the Apex side. I don't know if it's just to be against you and make it a little more suspenseful, but I think Chimpanzees can take this map. I really feel like that if they're running that Pharah, Flawless, very good on that Mercy, in my opinion, they are probably going to be able to take it, because I feel like Apex with their defense might not have that Widow possibly. I mean, we've seen them play on the Widow Ghostly and be fairly good at it. But I think that Chimpanzees is probably going to go in for a little bit more of a dive, and with that Pharah, then the Widow has to worry about not only maybe a Winston or a Diva jumping on them, but the rockets coming in from the Pharah to take them out. And if they do get taken out, then who's really going to stop that Pharah, you know? So I think if Chimpanzees plays a Pharah here, they have a pretty good chance of taking it.
Yeah, well, all depend on obviously what the defense or the offense, what they set up with, because we've seen that on a lot of maps, right? Where sure, you can say like, what if they run this? We're going to be ready for it, but then if they run something completely different, we're not. So your defense is always a little bit of a weird setup where you have to sort of be ready for as much as possible, and then certain weird comps will always be able to run over it because that's just the one thing you're not ready for. But that's also the one thing that's most unlikely to happen. So when it comes to that, yes, if Fire could very well work out. But then what if they just run a Widowmaker and a McCree on the defense and just completely kick her out of the sky? Then the Fire doesn't do much anymore, does it?
Yeah, but I think on the offense, it's a lot easier to switch your team comp. And
it is.
I think that's what makes it kind of that evening factor, because it always seems a little bit easier to defend than be on the offensive. But with the offensive, you do have the ability to change your team comp much quicker and kind of go against the defense. So I think it's fairly evened out between the two because of that.
Yeah, and I mean, we might see that coming out here where they just go and check what do they have, and then back to spawn they go, they switch it back up. Pancake is on the Sombra right now, Regrow on the Hammond, so looks like that's likely going to be the strat. You just walk out and see what they have and run back in. Is Deepa going to stick on the Symmetra, or is that just a little bit of a teleport flicker and just going to go back to spawn? Let's look at the rest. It's going to be another bunker-style setup here, it looks like. At least the Orisa Bastion's going to be there with the Baptiste. And they do really value this Diva pick, which is interesting because you haven't seen the other side do it as much. They were more reliant on the Polar Roadhog in those cases.
Yeah, and now looking at these team comps, Debug's gonna stay on this Symmetra here, which I like. It's a very interesting composition. So I think what the thought is here is that if they start rushing us too fast, hurry up, we'll teleport away to a different spot and not have to worry about it too much. The Pharah is in fact coming out here. Ghost is taken very low.
It looks like Ghosty wasn't really ready, was just standing there, not even set up, and now gets hacked up as well. So this Bastion setup not really working out that well so far. Looks like Deadbook is getting ready to maybe throw out a teleporter here for his team, but Regrow just trying to get in there, making sure that they can't just freely walk around. Turrets are up though. The Symmetric turrets can do a lot of slowing, a lot of damage, and the attack is really slowly approaching because they've switched up a few things. There's the fire rockets coming in right now from Polar once again. Razors on the Hanzo, Pancake on the Sombra. So much DPS, but are they going to get any value out of those kills? Because they don't really seem to be doing much damage aside from Ghostly, who just gets shielded, healed back up, and they have to start all over again.
Yeah, right now what Regrow is trying to do there was... Yeah, Regrow was trying to displace everybody. Polar getting him really close for a barrage. You're able to pick up two. That's an amazing barrage to start off with here. Debug picking him off, though.
Oh, they get the counter kill, yeah, exactly. And Ono Potato falling as well. The res comes into Ray. That means that the tanks are back. The point sustain is back. Flawless and Ono Potato. The healer's falling. Looks like they're just going to hold on to this. And is that something that's going to be more, that we're going to see more of? Just saying, like, yeah, you might get a pick or two, but as long as you don't have the bodies, you won't get the point ever.
Yeah, and Now, the defense, I mean, it's definitely going to be able to be taken down with this team comp. They're about to come up on the EMP with Pancake here, the Nano, possibly onto the Far to put in more damage, or the Hamster to go in and really do that. Right now, Regrow, I think, is really just looking to try to displace people. But Ray just did a really good job with his halt there, but the EMP coming in is big. It's all 6 of them.
It does hit all 6, but again, they need to get the follow-up. I mean, they do get Ray once again, but that rest just comes back in. Ghostly falls as well, but are they going to be able to clean the rest of the team up? It's 5v6 right now. Leaf gets out of the mech. Debug is still running around this Symmetra. I think pretty high charged at this point, but Freak falling, likely going to put an end to most of this. No more reses, a lot of healing gone. Phobia still trying to run around, but that Baptiste is not going to be long for this. Well, Polar and Racer just picking up the kills, stacking the damage on top of the enemy team, and together with Regrow and Flawless, they're able to clean it up. So that's the Ghostly Bastion ult coming out here, trying to maybe contest a little bit, but he's on his own. He's not going to be able to do much. Phobia going back over to the Ana, Debug to the Pharah, and what's Ghostly going to do? It's going to be the Widowmaker. So Polar are going to have a little bit of a tougher time, I feel like.
Yeah, and the Widowmaker, geez, I can't speak today. I'm so sorry for that. The Widowmaker here on this point is really good because it's just so open. You can see the Pharah pretty much all the time unless they were to sit up here on this little castle spot, which wouldn't actually be that good for the Pharah because then it's hard for them also to see people and get the kills there. Ghosty right now just kind of sizing it up and looking at it. They got quite a few ults to work with here. Regrow just kind of throwing in a little bit of himself there. Bomb down onto the point. You know, you're not seeing too much here, but now I think it's about to get aggressive.
Yeah, they're finally going to start out. Ray already falling here. Freak might get the res off. No, because it's Pancake. The Nano Sombra just meleeing her in the face. Ghostly falls to Regrow as well. So it looks like this is going to be a good attack here. And that's amazing. I mean, it really looks like it's going to be a very consistent attack here. And they have so many ultimates.
Yeah, 5 ults on their side. They have the EMP. They have the Barrage. Ghostly taking out Flawless, though. That's a lot of heals. That Mercy can't quite stick on that far as much as they'd like to now. And
yeah, they tried to go for the resin, but that bubble, oh, that's amazing. They tried to deny the res, and in doing so, they didn't deny the res, but they denied the Barrage, the life of Polar there. But there's so many ultimates here for the attacker. They have plenty still to work with, and it's just that overpowering, like, you know what? You have nothing, we have everything, and eventually we'll just win out the fight because we just have more. They're even able to hold on to this Racer Dragon here, but there will be another contest, and they just use that fight to drain out that entire ult bank, and that's very nicely done, it seems.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it was pretty impressive how long they were able to hold with all 5 of those ults, pretty much in Chimpanzee's back pocket there.
Ray going for Directed Needle, and he gets through. I always miss those, so I'm impressed. He does get hacked up straight away, but Debug has the Barrage. Will go straight onto Flawless so that Ana will fall. But in the meantime, there you have no one on the point. Leaf wasn't there. The point gets capped, and they're just fighting out to just end the fight. Like, not really to necessarily win it. It just has to be over at some point. And both teams losing a lot of members, so this will be an interesting recontest here. Ray still has the Primal, so we'll still have the Winston, but it looks like Leaf is going to go back to Swap.
Yeah, and the defense there was actually able to stop the offense from pushing that cart too far past this next point. They wanted to go back to switch anyways, but now they had a little bit more breathing time and understand what they wanted to do here. And then Leaf just going in trying to take as much damage as possible. He gets nanoed. The EMP comes out. It's going to make it really hard for Leaf to get away.
Yeah, Nano Regrow once again. We've seen that quite a few times tonight. He's not able to get anything because you just stay away from him with all that mobility. The Winston gonna go deep. Ray still has that Primal Rage. Just gets slept up. Uses the bubble. But again, he's just able to start jumping and smacking people around. Ray gets hacked up. It will likely get bursted down here, but it buys so much time. 2.5 minutes. Yes, they're very close to the end. But if this keeps going, this trend, they're just gonna lose more and more and more time.
Yeah, and I think right now going into this, it's looking a little bit shaky on the defense here, but hopefully these mines can kind of turn that around, and it probably will take out Flawless here. What a great first pick.
Big deal. Didn't have the Nano, but Ana just herself is already so good. She doesn't need the ultimate to be amazing. Regrow is going very low, will fall as well. Nice minefield from Lee to open everything up, and he just keeps rolling around at the speed of sound to get everyone out. It's going to be a Racer trying to get out with that high charge, but that won't be the case. They have a lot of ultimates on the attack, but they have a lot of a harder time coming in now to this.
Yeah, defense really starting to pick up a little bit more momentum on their side here. Leaf with really good minds to kind of split everybody up, but a really far sleep on a Debug. Going into this here, we got the EMP coming, a lot of ults on the side of Chimpanzees here. So I think your screen's about to get very colorful because there is a lot of ults on both sides.
There are a lot of ultimates on both sides, but what's going to come out first? It looks like a Grav and an EMP are looking a little bit stronger over the attack, but Freak's Transcendence should be able to do a lot against that. Leaf goes in deep again, gets out alive as well. The Dragon is covering his retreat, and the EMP is ready. They get Freak, they get Phobia with the hack as well. But will the Debug Barrage trade that out a little bit? They get Oh No Potato and Polar, but it doesn't look like there's a lot to work with. Racer falls, so does Ghostly. It's a back and forth, and we know how that goes, guys. Defensive respawn advantage. Looks like they're just going to be holding on. And once again, so many ultimates used for the attack, and nothing gained here. That is impressive for the defense, especially.
Yeah, going on the offense here. Pancake used that EMP on both the supports and was able to take off Freak pretty early in the fight there, trying to set it up. But that Barrage taking out Polar. And now with the Shatter coming out, able to only pick up one, it seems. It's going to be really hard for them to get through here, especially with Freak using his ultimate right about now, and Mines coming back down onto the point.
Yeah, they're really going to try to just corral them into this little corridor for the Dragon to do some work here. And Leaf tries to even push them back into it. Didn't really find the angle, I feel, Ghostly, but Leaf still gets the kill with one of those mines, still lingering on. They stay along the ground longer than a lot of people think, I feel. Pancake's still very low, not able to get healed up. Finally gets a little bit of love there and has another EMP. That's a huge one, hits 3 of them. And Ghostly, it doesn't just matter. Ghostly just doesn't care. He just keeps through shooting arrows at people, and he keeps hitting them, so they keep dying. And if he keeps trading, this could look very well. Debug on the Mage is able to stall this out forever. We're already in overtime, and they have to win this fight if you're Chimpanzees. You have to win this in order to, well, finish the map, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. Flawless.
Looks like Ghostly just kill everybody.
Ghostly has just been able to, I don't know what it is, but Ghostly has just been popping off on that Hanzo, and we've seen him do a little bit on the Widow, but that Hanzo has been his main hero, where he just doesn't care. He just wins.
Yeah, and that last point there, while they got super close, they weren't quite able to cap it. So still winnable on the side of Apex, but it's gonna be really hard because that third point is so defense favored there, and they were just able to pick it up and kind of stop all the momentum that Chimpanzees were putting in. Going into the defense here, you know, I'm not quite sure what the Chimpanzees are going to run, but I think Apex are probably going to do a similar comp to what they did on the offense, Chimpanzees. So we're gonna see how this one goes. Like I said, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna see here, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is like an Orisa, Bastion, maybe a Hanzo, you know, something like that on the defense.
Yeah, it's possible, and it looks like they want to run out with that DPS once again on the attack. Well, I mean, they haven't less spawn, of course, but on the defense, they do also want to run that once again. They feel it really works for them to run that triple DPS in a lot of ways, and I can't blame them. It wasn't that bad. It really worked for them very well until they got to the last point, to be honest.
Yeah, and it looks like that Pancake's just running up there, maybe trying to figure out what they have and understand it. But Pancake, if they Ray does decide to stay on this Hammond pick, Pancake's going to be a big pain in the side for them. Looking at this team comp right now, there really wouldn't be much of an answer for either Pharah besides maybe the Ana or Hanzo if they are quite able to hit them in the air. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Pancake right now just kind of looking to get a little bit of ult charge right off the bat here since the spawn just came out.
Polar and Debug just Pharahing it out in the air here, and Ghostly once again opens it up, gets the headshot onto Pancake. I don't know what to say about this man anymore. He just keeps getting him. They keep loving him up, and he keeps finishing them off. It's actually really cool to watch. Ghostly gets another one there. They don't even need the rest of the team. They just can put Ghostly in. He kills everyone. The rest just runs around distracting the rest of the team. And that's exactly what it looks like it's happening. He's not even like getting close to the enemy team. They're just getting close, and he just finishes everything off. No one else has gotten a kill here. It's just been the Ghostly show, and mostly headshots as well. It's starting to feel a little bit unfair at this point. I don't know what this is. It kind of feels like the the Carpe winnable play, where he just goes in and says, "It's winnable!" and he kills everything. And Ghostly just does it every fight. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Ghostly looking super strong right now on this Hanzo pick. Going into it, I was definitely thinking the Hanzo from Ghostly, you know, we just saw him at the end of that round, was really good. But going into this round, he just absolutely, not to be rude, but he stomped. He did really good.
He did really good. And I mean, he has the ultimate already up, obviously, because of that, because he just kept doing so much damage. And right now it's just Leaf and Debug trying to do all the damage from the sky against Polar, but they're trading out. Both Fars falling, and it looks like the res is going to be there from Freak. It doesn't get canceled, but Freak does get killed, so it's going to be even numbers, but the fire is going to be there for the attack. It's already pressuring down Flawless. Flawless going so low, but not finished off. Debug will, in fact, fall. So does Ghostly, and this entire fight is just going to be over. It's just going to be done and dusted. But the map is far from over, and it's going to keep pushing forward. This payload just creeping on through the street space of Eichenwald.
Yeah, and honestly, right now, this is still looking very holdable, but this EMP from both sides, who's going to use it first is going to be the big question here, because I think this is going to set the fight.
Nice EMP coming out here from Pancake. Gets enough of the heals here. Leaf just doesn't get anything value out of the Dragon Blade, but neither does Polar from the Barrage. Debug does get a kill with it after finishing off Polar, but you know, they just keep trading out. And I think that's really the thing. Both of these teams, they often just keep trading out, and it keeps happening. There's the mines from Regro. Will get the kill because Free can't fly away from them. And Regro will fall as a trade. So once again, going back and forth, and now it looks like the attackers might have the numbers advantage, but will they be able to actually push the payload further? Because the mines are still blocking off their path. This is exciting, Zach. I don't know where it's going to end.
Yeah, right now it's just being super close. Trades on both sides here. Defense now making their comeback here, but Leaf not only was he able to pick off Pancake earlier, but now picking off Polar, making it a lot more difficult. Regro just like, okay, you're put in where we're going to take you out right now before you go any further, but Freak is like, nope, we're going to keep him right here in the fight.
Yeah, they got that solo support Mercy as well, so it's going to be Leaf on McCree. It's actually, wow. They put out more damage. They just say, you know what? We're going to play this mode. We're just going to put up more damage because you have a support and we only have one. You have two. Dragon tries to cover the cart, but there's no one on it to really kill. In fact, Ghostly gets to kill the Flawless with his Dragon. Gets another one. Leaf follows up on Pancake after the EMP hits. And looks like this is going to be another nice cleanup if they're able to do it quick enough, because the respawns for the defense are fairly close. They need to start keep getting these kills, and the start is there with Polar, but they just don't get Grieger off the card. Finally, they do. Will they get it in? It does look like it. Defense doesn't want to get close to that one. And with 4.5 minutes for not even getting to the last point, that is a very grim perspective here for Chimpanzees trying to tie this series up.
Yeah, but now that it's gone into the more defense-favored point here, I think they could take it back. This EMP could kind of change the momentum of the fight. Pancake going in, really looking for it right now. He's going to put the hack on to Leaf, so that way he can't get stunned if he decides to go in.
And it's obviously the one you want to avoid, but nice mines coming out straight away. Regro has to back up with that nano. Racer just taken out by another Deadeye. Pancake just throws at the EMP. They hack up a lot of members, but once again, there's the follow-up. There's the follow-up. Debug falling, but so does Polar. The fire is just being traded, and Freak gets the heal onto Debug, so it looks like, oh, the fires are just back, guys. They're just back. You kill them, but they just come back. Regro won't come back, though, because there's no res in the table. Polar also falling, so it looks like the defense is getting taken out by Ghostly, and once again, Ghostly and Debug combining for 4 or 5 or even 6 kills together, and that's going to be the map. That's going to be the series. Apex Deft, they lost the first map, but they were on a constant roll after that. What a nice showing from them, and hope to see more of them as well.
Yeah, that was really a fun match to watch there. It really did get close on Eichenwald there. I know they finished with like 3 minutes, but it always kind of felt like the team fights could have gone either way every time there was one, except for right here when Ghostly just kind of decided, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot heads. I think I'm just gonna aim at the head and hope for the best. And well, he didn't even have to hope. He just had to aim, and that's exactly what he did.
And sometimes you don't even have to aim with Hanzo. You just throw the arrows in the rough direction of the enemy team at the right height, and they'll just run into the arrows. So, I mean, it might have just been Ghostly being very skillful. It might also be the enemy team just very much, you know, running into the arrows. You never really know with Hanzo, in my opinion. But you know what? I'm gonna give it to Ghostly. Very nicely done. And you were saying that Phobia might have gotten the MVP vote, but honestly, it's hard.
Yeah, it's just looking at all these team comps, man. I really think it could have gone a bunch of different ways here, and it just really was that close fight that you really wanted to see. You know, I don't think at any way should we have been disappointed with the outcome of this match. It was a very fun match to watch, and we may be having someone come in here for an interview, which would be, of course, always fun. All right, so looks like we might have somebody coming in here sometime soon. Match was a fun one. and it looks like that's what's going to happen. We have Ray from Apex coming in here. Ray, hello. How are you doing?
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. How are you feeling after that win, man? You dropped that first map, but then you were just able to get the next 3. Just how good does that feel right now?
Feels really good, dude. Yeah, I'm really excited. Holy cow. This is our first tournament match that we've really like won. So, I'm super hyped. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it was an impressive win nonetheless. Though you did drop that first map, it wasn't quite one-sided, but once you guys started getting that momentum after you guys took that second map, it just kind of felt like a little more confidence kind of spurted through your team, and you got a lot more aggressive.
Yeah. I feel like we all started to trust each other more, and once we solved some of the connection issues, we were also a lot more confident, I think.
Yeah, and on that main tank role, what do you think is probably like the most important thing for you to do for your team?
I think being a leader is a really key strength you have as a main tank. You have to worry about everybody on your team and the enemy team at once. You have to track goals, you have to call for your team, target call and stuff. So with a lot of practice, eventually best main tank players stop a lot of enemy DPS from getting kills, so it's nice.
Yeah, and when you kind of figure out these team comps, do you kind of like style your team comps before you go into the match, or do you kind of like just kind of pick something and then see what the enemy's running, or what's kind of the thought process going into those fights?
Okay, so we spend a lot of time before the matches like creating team compositions, but depending on the team we play against, we like to mix it up a little bit, but for the most part, I have to call every hero that my team plays. So we will stay in the spawn room. We'll use all the time we have allotted to us, and we'll just like pick heroes.
Nice. After taking your first win, I'm sure you feel pretty happy about it. What do you think kind of sets you guys apart from other teams now as you go forward into this?
I think what sets us apart from other teams is that we're a very individual team. We haven't been in a tournament in like a year, so we do a lot of practice. I think all of us are individually really skilled, so I think as a team we stand out because we're a very high skilled team, I think.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree. Some great blocks on shatters, some great shatters yourself. Your whole team really putting in work there. As you can see, Ghostly really on that last map. He kind of popped off there. What was the comms kind of like when that was going on?
Man, the comms were great.
Sure, there was quite a bit of yelling. I'd be pretty psyched.
Yeah, kind of a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. Yeah.
Going further into the tournament, are you going to look on this match a lot and kind of see what you did right, and you're going to use this as a learning tool? Maybe you're just going to kind of go forward. Are you going to watch other teams' videos or VODs when they come out?
Yeah, I think we're going to watch everything, especially our game. I think we can learn a lot from it. We made a lot of mistakes. We made good plays, bad plays. We always learn. That's what we do.
Yeah. And while we wait on the MVP poll, actually, do you have anybody you'd like to call for the MVP? I mean, you can call yourself too. I mean,
no, I don't think it's me. I'm actually nothing in terms of the team's drive. It's probably for the MVP. I mean, I want to give it to Nate, or Leaf, I should say. He is a very good communicator. He helps us a lot with like filling comms. He keeps everyone talking. He flexes to heroes that we need him to, and he's my off-tank player, so I kind of gotta give it to him, I think.
Yeah, got that kind of synergy with him over that time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, congratulations on your match. Thank you so much for coming in for this interview. It was really fun to talk to you, and good luck in your next matches, man.
Thank you.
All
Yeah,
right,
sorry.
and with that.
Sorry.
And with that being said, now having the MVP poll come through, we have Ghostly as your viewers MVP. Definitely a well-earned position there, able to get off those crazy picks, not only on the Hanzo, but we saw him do it on Widow. We saw him just really work well with the team. It always seemed like he kind of had a positional advantage against everyone else. I believe he was also on the Bash. You need to really go with that. And all in all, I think a well-deserved MVP. Man class, you're quiet for me right now. I don't know if Refuse can hear you. Oh no, man of class, where have you gone? All right, well, currently there's just a little bit of difficulty right now going on for Man of Class, but you know what? It happens. Tell you what, guys, thanks for coming out to the stream. Man of Class, I'm sure you can find him over on like Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that. You can find me, Twitch, Poor Zach, Instagram, Poor Zach, YouTube, Poor Zach. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to tune in later because we are going to be having another match tonight. I've been Poor Zach, your color caster. Man of Class, I think I heard you.
Yeah, gonna be back at 9 p.m. Gonna be 9 p.m. We're gonna be back. Gonna be a great match. Definitely look forward to that one. And like you said, gonna be back then. So see you guys then. Thanks for watching.
Right.